what it do, y'all, what it do, what it do. Now, of course, you hear a lot of people talk about certain ideas about the feminine gender's sexual climax. But as you can tell with the title of this particular podcast, let's talk about the opposite. No one talks about the opposite. Everybody talks about the climax. You hear it all over the internet. Her climax. Well, what about the opposite? What about the opposite? Her decline. What is that? Well, climax is at the top and the top of the peak of climbing, and the decline is her climbing down from the peak. Coming down from the climax, basically. I believe that the decline is just as important as the climax. You get her there, cool. But how do you get her down? That's the catch. So, it's about this deal of telling her to hang on. See, basically she's climbing up, or you're getting her to climb up to your peak for the climax, but you got to make sure that your rocks are steady for her to come down. Ladies, this requires you to be a good cliffhanger, first and foremost. I could say something a little bit more ratchet. Cliffhanger, clit hanger. I had to put that out there. Sorry, YouTube. But yeah. It's about her coming down. So what does the decline look like versus the climax? Well, don't need to talk about how to get her there to the top. Let's talk about how to get her back down to the bottom from the top. Well, after you get her there, you have to pretty much show care. Kind of like when you do reach to the top of mountains and things like that, you have to make sure that everyone can come down safely. Yes, make sure everyone comes down safely. Have the right ropes, just whatever is needed. The right chains, the right ice pickers, all the gear that you need to make sure that you're descending down the mountain safely. And so in regards to her, how she comes down, you have to make sure that you hold on to her, just like you hold on to the cliffhangers coming down the mountain, making sure that they're holding on. You hold on to her when she is at that tender point of where she has the climax. That's when she requires a man to hold her, to embrace her as she comes down. So what happens is when you get her down to the base, your base, right? Back to the basics. She's now in a place of oasis. She's in this place of where she can chill and actually be calm and rest after such a journey to the top that you got her to. And it's an experience that she'll never forget, just like those who have scaled many peaks around the world. This is my interpretation of what her decline is versus the popular opinion about her climax. There's the opposite of that. Now, the funny thing of it is, after the decline, there's no decline. You never know. She could be ready to reclimb. But prior to that, she needs to recline. Rest amongst you. Rest amongst your base. Keep that in mind, fellas. Thanks a million.